Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTube. This is your Slime King, the Jima Man, and welcome to another video. Today, we'll be discussing a Nahida team that procs all the dendro reactions. It's an abomination enabled and thanks to our little locked up dendro archon. Now, obviously, it's a team that doesn't proc them all at the same time. However, there are phases to the rotation, and each phase you proc different reactions, concluding into a team that is greater than the sum of its parts. The team in question, Nahida, Fischl, Kokomi, and Xiangling, might seem like an odd team makeup. However, in practice, it ends up being really good, even if it doesn't exactly... I don't know what's going on half the time. I know obviously this is a sukokomon team, but instead of sucrose, you use Nahida. But hear me out. The aforementioned team has many nuances that has led to its decline in use in the player base. For one, if you can't hit Gooba swirls consistently, your DPS drops off a cliff. And if you don't have sufficient ER, the team becomes horrible to play. Nahida's version of this team simply fixes most of those issues. This team is significantly easier to play, has a longer uptime, and performs decently well in single target while being great in AoE situations. Okay, now what about the ER? It's impossible for Xiangling to burst off cooldown, especially without fab weapons and Bennett. And that's where this team becomes even more impressive. Xiangling is running the catch with an ER sans to the sweet tune of 255% ER. This allows her to burst off cooldown without the need of a battery, and as you are seeing and have seen, this team still clears fast. And that's because of the nature of just how many reactions this team procs over the course of its rotation. Kokomi is a vital cog in all of this because this is an actual burning team, and if you have tried burning teams, it does self-damage similar to how Burgeon or Bloom self-damage works. Since you are proccing both Burning and Burgeon and some Blooms, that is a significant amount of self-damage that only Kokomi can outpace. Sure, Kokomi can make full use of Nahida's A1 EM buff, however this team also becomes a Kokomi vaporized team in which she vaporizes her charged attacks, thus somehow benefiting from it along with the occasional dendro cores bursting into blooms. Wait. So now I'm telling you that not only does this team proc Burning, Bloom, Burgeon, Spread, Aggravate, and Hyper Bloom, now I'm also telling you that you can vape with Kokomi as well? Yes, that's what I'm telling you. You also occasionally proc, Overload, and Electro Charge in this team courtesy of Fischl, and the occasional Overload from Xiangling as well. The only reactions it actually doesn't do are Melt, Swirl, Freeze, and Crystallize. Okay. In order to understand how this team actually works and why it works so well, let's examine the rotations, because at first glance, you can definitely get lost in the sauce. The first part of the rotation consists of a Nahida E into Q to apply Dendro. Kokomi drops her Jellyfish, and the Bloom phase of this rotation occurs. Xiangling drops down Gooba, and before Gooba breathes fire, you switch into Fischl to E. At this point, Quicken into Spreads and Aggravates occur while proccing Hyper Bloom, and then the residual cores will be hit by Gooba's Breath of Fire proccing Burgeons, and by this point you switch into Xiangling to Burst, and that is where all hell is let loose. You'll see Vapes, Burning Ticks, occasional Aggravates, and Spreads, and once you switch into Kokomi to Burst, Electro Charge can be procced, Vapes can be procced, Overload can be procced along all the other aforementioned reactions. Gauging the consistency of these procs at this moment is simply a fool's errand, and at this point you might as well just enjoy the abomination of reactions. Obviously, in single target situations, it becomes much easier to comprehend, and in most cases it is worse simply because you are producing not as much reactions as in multi-enemy floors. However, the damage is still good enough that it clears comfortably. For builds, it's quite simple. Nahida is on a 4-piece Gilded Dreams with as high EM as you can get her, along with 140 to 150 ER. She requires this much ER because she is the only dendro unit here, and energy is not as high as in other teams. She could run Deepwood Memories as well if you have a better set for it, which I don't. As for her weapon, she could run Magic Guide, Sack Frags, or 1,000 Floating Dreams. Fischl would be running the 4-piece Deepwood Memories if Nahida is on GD, and if she is on Deepwood, then Fischl could run a traditional 2-piece set or a 4-piece Thundering Fury. Her best weapons here are Stringless and Elegy, and obviously with Elegy you don't need to build as much ER, but with Stringless you need at least 120 ER to sustain Oz's uptime. Kokomi should always wear a 4-piece clam set here, as she does have a significant on-field time requirement in these rotations, and she'll be using a TTDS to buff Xiangling, but she needs 190 ER, wherein an ER Sands could be useful in these cases. Or you could sacrifice the buffing of TTDS for Xiangling for Hakushin Ring or a high refine prototype Amber. And Xiangling would still be running a 4-piece emblem, and of course you need to do whatever it takes for you to have 250 ER and as much EM as possible, preferably around 200 EM. Engulfing Lightning would obviously be her best in slot here, as it provides attack with all those added ER rolls and the much needed ER as a substat to boot. Kitine at high refines is useful as well, but for most people the catch will be the safest option. That's it. Overall, it's a really fun team that showcases just how good Nahida sits into a lot of teams. It's also a team that deals damage in a variety of reactions, unlike any other team out there so far. So, tell me what you think down in the comments below, or better yet, come at me over at twitch.tv/thejimaman, where I stream Genshin almost every day. Come join the Slime Kingdom Discord, where we listen to Kokomi moan every day. This is our parting. Farewell.